Alright, bitch, you ready to get jazzed? Huh? Can you handle it? Can you handle some fucking jazz? Are you ready for jazz? Are you ready for jazz? Jazz has been looking you up and down all night. Not sure if you can handle it, okay? Alright? I don't know, man. Can you handle some modes, you know? Some mode switching, right? Can you handle some chromaticism? Huh? Can you handle a little jazz progression, huh? Some little 251, huh? Little 251 up in your grill, giving you shit, huh? Can you do it? I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you're ready. All right, well, we'll see. Dear Lord, welcome to Sentimental Fools. All right. Okay. Welcome back, friends. Appreciate you. All right. Goddamn, today we're talking high school extracurricular activities. Yeah, that's right. Getting extracurricular up in here today. All right. I know what you're thinking. Who cares? Who cares, dude? All right. But I don't know. Might be a little more interesting than you think. All right. Just gonna recount an interesting experience for me. All right. All right. So the extracurricular activity we're talking about today is high school jazz band. Okay. A few interesting things about it, right? Because my experience with the jazz band was kind of unique. All right. I wasn't like all the other folks up in there. Okay. Something a little different going on with me that made it interesting and challenging. Okay. So, high school jazz band, pretty much the only high school extracurricular activity I did. Do I regret not doing more? Yeah. I took it for granted. I did. What do you want me to say? You know, there was just other shit I wanted to do. Okay? I wanted to go home. I wanted to go home after school. That's all an extracurricular activity meant to me at the time was as school ends and I have to stay at school? No. I want to go home. Make music, play drums, write songs, right? Or just hang out with some folks, you know? Socialize in a relaxed setting, you know? Fuck, I was just starting to get good at hanging out with people. I wanted to hang out. Wanted to write songs. Didn't want to stay at school. But again, do I regret it? Yeah, kind of. Because I could have socialized there too. I could have met some new people. Could have broadened my horizons, right? Could have learned some new skills, right? But what are you going to do? It's all over now. But, you know, you go to college, or you want to go to college, and they tell you you should probably have some extracurriculars. Look good on your college application. Probably should get some extracurriculars up on that piece of paper. Okay? When in reality, guess what, you know? Unless you're going to a state school or something, which you can probably get in anyway, no matter what. Listen, you pay for college. You pay to be there. They'll let you in. All right? Unless it's something crazy, it's super specialized, they're going to let you in. They want your fucking money. All right? God. Anyway. So I was getting pressure to do an extracurricular, especially jazz band, from two angles. All right? One angle was the parents. You should have an extracurricular, put on your college application. Whatever. Fine. But the second was from the band leader. Now, I know the band leader, right, because he also taught the guitar classes at my high school. I feel very lucky to have gone to a high school with guitar classes. I took them every year. They only offer guitar 1 and 2, but I kept taking them. I took guitar independent study, right, for my junior and senior year. Because come on, I love playing guitar. And there's some things I learned in those guitar classes that I still use all the time, right? Jazz voicings, use them all the time, right? Bar chords, all the time. Took a music theory class in high school, did ear training, learned modes, learned intervals, use it all the time. Endless creative possibilities, right? I digress. Band director was giving me pressure to join jazz band because the fancy guitar player they had in jazz band up until that point, he was a senior, he was graduating. I was the new fancy guitar player, all right? Which, awesome, sweet, great. Happy to be the new fancy guitar player in the jazz band, right? Or happy to at least be considered, or, he's like, you really should do it, Like there's a few other people who want to do it, but please do it. You're better than them. So super honored to be in that position, but I still didn't really want to do it. But I did it. The pressure from both sides converged, and I ended up in high school jazz band my junior and senior year of high school. Now, did I have some good times? I had some good times. There were some cool things, and I'll tell you about them. But did I struggle? Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that. Okay? Here's why. Okay. Everyone else in jazz band had been in school band programs since about 4th grade. Okay? All the horn players, the brass section, the woodwinds, the drummer, the piano player, everyone but me had been in band program since about 4th grade. You know what that means? They can fucking read music. Okay? Not only that, they can sight read music on their instrument. They can have music put in front of them and they can fucking read it. All right? Guess what I can't do? I can't sight read for shit. For shit. Right? I may have been, right, the most savvy guitar player in that school at that time. Right? However, I am self-taught as fuck. All right? I am very passionate. And I'm very nerdy about it, and I love getting into the weeds. I love music theory, right? I taught myself a lot of that, practiced it a lot, learned the in and outs, got my music theory toolkit, up and running, right? I'm very knowledgeable. I can play with other people very well. I have excellent timing, right? I make excellent musical decisions, right? I can put interesting songs together, right? It's like a good meal. I know what it needs. I can smell that song. I know it needs a little bit of lemon, and it needs a little bit of time. It needs I know how to do that, right? I know how to play several other instruments. I know how to play drums. I know how to play piano, right? I can sing a little bit. Am I great? I don't know. That's really up to you. I don't like to think about it too much because I don't fucking know. I just get in there and try to sing something that I'm not uncomfortable with, right? Because that's the hardest one for me, but I digress, right? But it's all self-taught, right? And it was self-taught later, And when you're playing guitar, you're learning how to play guitar, drums, piano, you don't need to know how to read music to learn how to play these things and play them well. With guitar, you have tabs, And so I learned a lot by ear, which there's a lot of benefits to learning by ear. Ear training is incredibly valuable. Really good for you. But I neglected the actual music reading part of it, okay? Now, when I was in guitar classes in high school, all right, you had to start to learn how to read music. And I did start to learn how to read music, right? So I could technically read music, right? But I couldn't sight read. So, my ability to read music was like a fucking, I don't know, first or second grader, little kid, right? I can go through it slowly. Still to this day, I'm not great at reading music because life has not demanded that I be good at reading music. I think it's going to be one of my bucket list items is to learn how to sight read. But goddamn, what a tough thing to jump into, not having any of it instilled in you as a child. It's really tough. It's like learning a second language at this point. And it's so frustrating because I'm good. I can play. I can write. I can play complicated things. I can write complicated things. I can imagine complicated things. But if you put a chart in front of me, I'm fucked. Right? So I can read music, but super clunky. Like, I can tell you what key it's in, right? I know what time signatures, I know my way around time signatures, that's for sure. I can write in crazy time signatures that oscillate back and forth, you know? I know my time signatures. But when it comes to notes on the staff, holy fuck. I'm just like, okay, that's an A, all right? And then that's a C, and that's a B, okay? And that's, seriously, I'm fucked, right? Everybody else can sight read, and and the band leader expects everyone to sight read. He expects to distribute the charts to the whole jazz band. And we had a pretty fleshed out jazz band. We had a rhythm section, piano, guitar, vibraphone, bass, and then full horn section, trumpets, trombones, right? Woodwinds, clarinets, flutes, saxophones, right? Killer drummer. Had everything all fleshed out, really good. Right? Fun. But he just expects, here, put the chart out. Let's see what it sounds like, everybody. And I'm like, God, fuck, shit. Right? Now, here. Thank God that a huge portion of what my responsibilities were in the rhythm section was chord charts. Chord charts, no fucking problem. I know where all my goddamn chords are. I memorized all the different common variations. Excuse me. And like I said, I'm good with rhythms. I got you on rhythms. I can read rhythms. So chord charts with rhythm notation, no problem. No problem for the old Chris, right? But holy shit, you give me a couple bars of a melody I have to do, right? Or a few bars of a melody I have to do, and I'm sweating, right? No time to prepare. I'm sweating. Couldn't do it. And he expected me to do it. So here's what I would usually do. Right? Because I can't sight read. I can't emphasize this enough. I can't sight read for shit. Right? So if it came to a part in the score where there's a melody for me to play, right? I know what key I'm in. I know all my scales. I know all the modes. I know all the vibes, right? And one of my strong suits is improvising. I can improvise like a motherfucker, right? So when it would come up to that part, I would just play something in the key, you know, just diddle around in the key, in a rhythm that made sense, right? And I usually just get away with it until I had time later to sit down, actually figure out what the notes on the paper were and what I was supposed to be playing, okay? Now, also, keep in mind, in my defense, sight reading music for guitar, definitely more challenging than every other instrument. Because every other instrument, most other instruments, there's only one place to play each note. On guitar, not the case. There are multiple places to play each note, which makes it more difficult, right? Not an excuse. Not an excuse. Just more information. Just more information for you. Okay? So yeah, anyway, I would just improvise something in the key. Okay? And there was a couple times where he'd pause and be like, play what you're playing? And I'd just be sweating. He's like, okay. And I would just just improvise again. And I could see what was going on in his head. And in his head, I could hear the words just like, okay, he has no idea what that is, but he'll get it. He's fine. And yeah, I would get it, and I would be fine. But I can't sight read. And I'm in a room full of sight readers, so that was killing me. So that was hard. That was one of my big struggles. In that class, it was weird. It was weird. It was tough to be a very competent guitar player, but just be out of my league, in strange waters, right? Now, my favorite part about the class is the warm-up, okay? That was the best, right? He would pick like they call them heads, just a repeating phrase, like a blues lick, little repeating melody line. And we'd like do the head a few times, and then the rhythm section would vamp, and then we'd go around the room, and each person would warm up and take an improvised solo, right? And that's where you learned who could do that, right? Because a lot of them could sight read, not a lot of them were very competent improvisers, right? And that's kind of the trade-off. That's one of the things that comes with learning how to play by ear, right? And I had practiced improvising a lot because the art of improvisation, that's what really drove my first several years of study in guitar, was I wanted to figure out how to do that because it looked like a damn magic trick. That's what I wanted to figure out. So I got really good at it. I would just sit at home. I had a CD that I bought of backing tracks, jazz and blues backing tracks, rock backing tracks, stuff like that, in different keys. And I would just sit there in my computer and just fuck around in different modes and, just develop my own grab bag of motifs and riffs and all these things. And, so I was good at it, And there were some other people in the jazz band that were good at it too. They were exceptional musicians. The piano player, whoo! Oh my God, this guy was good. Just killer, just in it. Just no thought, just gone, just bam, just so good. They had an alto sax player there, would rip. And these guys went on to keep playing their instruments. Everybody else, probably not. Probably stored their instruments in the garage, right? That's kind of the difference, It's kind of the difference there. But yeah, that was my favorite part of jazz band, the warm-ups, where you get to improvise a solo, and that's where I could just finally the thing that I'm good at, just letting her rip, right? That was fun. And yeah, God, some of the other people, bless their hearts, but that's when you realize you can read music, you can play what's on the page, but yeah, when it comes to engaging your own musical imagination, you are insecure as fuck, not confident. You don't know what to do. You just let out strange series of notes, sometimes in rhythm, most of the time not, just and the tone suffers too because they're just not confident, But I digress. That was my time to shine, right? So it was tough for me, but like I said, not too bad because didn't have to play melody lines all too often. They weren't too complicated, so I could just figure them out later. I mean, that's what I had to do. I either had to memorize them, right? Or I had to write what note it was, like on top of the, on top of where the notes were on the staff. I had to write A, C, D to so I could remember, which the band director did not like that. He's like, it's a crutch you're using. I'm like, yeah, well, I am incredibly behind. I'm almost illiterate. Give me a break. If we were all the same amount of illiterate and we could go through the progress, slowly baby step through this like you would if you couldn't read, then that's one thing. But I'm just stuck into a place where it's expected that everyone already knows how to do this and I don't. Okay? So it was hard. Okay. Anyway. But it was mostly a good time. It was okay. I got to play a beautiful guitar that I got from my uncle, which I think I've talked about before. After he passed away, his items were, musical gear was passed on to me, and one of those was a beautiful 1964 Gibson ES 175 single humbucker neck pickup, beautiful big single cutaway, big old hollow body jazz box, right? Perfect for this shit. I even used his amp too. Fender Princeton Reverb from the 80s, tube, right? Great. 1x12. It was delightful, right? Beautiful tone in this thing. Just big, round, woody, beautiful tones, right? So that was a lot of fun. And the rhythm section at the time was great. Bass player was a good friend of mine at the time. We'd hang out after school sometimes. We'd jam, made a few silly songs together. Good guy, hung out with him a lot, right? Great bass player too, really killer. He was of Ukrainian heritage, and he was actually in like a Ukrainian folk band, right? Called Klopik. Klopik, Ukrainian for trouble. And they played gigs all the time in like the Ukrainian community, you know, events, parties, stuff like that, you know. And they were cool and tight. They played some cool stuff because you get into Eastern European music, you get into some interesting odd time signatures, interesting rhythms and grooves, you know, cool harmonic minor kind of shit, you know, interesting stuff, harmonic minor modes, cool shit, right? So he was rad. I like him. God, I recorded some music for them at one point, and this one song, I poured over it so much. I was still cutting my teeth on my recording skills. I still had a lot to learn. I had a lot of practicing to do, so some of the stuff would take me a long time to get to where I thought it was okay. I remember editing this one part so much, I still remember it to this day, this chorus. Tyž mene pi manula, tyž mene pi vela, tyž mene molodor, todo is vela, tyž mene pi manula, tyž mene pi vela, tyž mene molodor, todo is vela. All right, I did that shit in high school. I'm 34. That's how much I edited that section to like I was just pouring over it, just trying to get it right, I still remember that shit. It's ridiculous. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means at all. Somebody tell me. God damn. And I'm probably not nailing it, but that's what's in my head. That's what I remember. That's what it sounds like in my head anyway. Anyway, piano player, again, incredible guy. Still plays piano to this day. Still doing concerts. Still playing in public. Just, that was his whole thing, man. That was his whole thing. Oh, I got to record him a little bit, and I did a bad job. I feel bad when I think about it. I did a bad job recording him. I was just learning how to do this. My gear was nothing. I had like a powered PA head and a couple of shitty dynamic microphones, and there was a lot of electrical feedback in the circuit, and we went into a church. Oh, God. Oh, I fantasize about redeeming myself, recording him again, because I did a shitty job, and he was a beautiful player, you know? He just knew I would do it, and I'd do it for free, but it was shitty. There was a lot of electrical noise, man. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't good. I've gotten better. Oh, and then the drummer was great. So much fun. Had a vibraphone guy for a little bit too. It was cool, man. It was cool vibraphone shit. Yeah. Okay. So they're good guys. Good guys. It was fun. Now, here's a couple other funny things. Okay. So, there was this, I forget how often they did this. If it was annual, or if it was like every 4 years or something like that. They had this big jazz festival called it was like the IMEA Jazz Fest, right? And it was kind of like a competition too. I don't even remember what it stood for. God, I know it seems stupid, but just bear with me here. I really could have given a shit about all of this, okay? Do I kind of regret? Could I have cared more and gotten more out of it? Yes, but it just at the time, God, I didn't want to do more shit. I barely wanted to be in the jazz band. I got something out of the jazz band. It was okay. It was fun. But I had vision. I had vision and passion. I just needed time to myself. And so this was just more shit that was just cutting into, time by myself that I could be developing my own ideas and practicing the things I wanted to practice. I had plenty of drive and vision, plenty of inspiration, okay? I didn't really need it. Could I have gotten more out of it? Yeah, but that's the struggle I was having, right? So anyway, every so often, I forget how often, they have this IMEA Jazz Festival competition, right? And what happens is jazz bands from all over the Chicagoland area, all these different high schools, they all come together, they meet up at this school, and they all audition, right? Everybody sits down and auditions, and they put together a handful, I think 4 different jazz bands, right? Made up of all these different kids from all these different high schools, like, like these like all-star jazz bands, right? And I'm thinking, okay, fine. There's no way I'm getting in. I can barely read music. I'm not getting in. I'll go. I'll do the audition. They won't pick me. I'll go on with my life. Fine, right? Because we got bused there as a jazz band. We all have to audition, right? And I'm like, I'm not getting in. It's no problem, So I go in, do my audition. I do okay with the part where I have to read music. It's okay. It's clear I'm not great at it. I do great with the chords, right? But then here's where I think I fucked up, right? I actually have fun with improvising, right? Enough so that I left a little bit of an impression, right? And guess what? I get something in the mail. I'm in one of the bands, right? I'm in the shittiest band, right? Out of the 4, right? There's like the super all-stars and then 2, 3, 4. I'm in 4, in the 4th one. And I'm like, God damn it. I'm not excited about this, Am I taking it for granted again? Yes, I know, but I'm not excited. I'm just like, God damn it, there's more shit. I don't need more shit. I have plenty of stuff I want to do. I have songs I want to make. I have lyrics I want to write. I have stuff I want to learn. I have instruments I want to play. I don't need this. I don't want it. But I can't not do it. I'm accepted now, and the whole reason I'm in all this stuff is to have stuff to put on a college application or whatever the fuck, right? Oh, God, and I feel bad because, like, maybe somebody else could have gotten in there that actually would have gotten more out of it than me, but I don't know. It just felt like this is what I'm doing now. Okay. So I'm like, shit, I made it. God damn it. Okay, fine. And then I get in the mail a huge packet of songs that I'm going to have to learn, that I'm going to play as a part of this, number 4 jazz band group, right? Because this all accumulates in this big fest where you go, you play, and you play with, all these kids, and they have some other performances there from big jazz people, but you play with all these kids. You get together, you practice the songs during the day, you perform them a little later, a bunch of parents and teachers and stuff, they come, they watch, it's just a big thing, right? So I get this big packet in the mail of a bunch of sheet music, right? Bunch of charts for these jazz songs that, we're going to get together and play, right? And I didn't look at any of them. I put them aside because I'm like, dear God, I don't want to do any of this. Put them all aside. Didn't look at them till I had months to prepare. I didn't look at them till like the day before. And I was just looking through like, yeah, whatever. Okay, fine. And I bullshitted my way through the whole fucking thing, dude. Do I feel great about that? No, I don't. Is it hilarious? A little bit. I bullshitted my way through the whole fucking thing. I am an If I'm anything, I'm an excellent musical bullshitter if needed. Can I do good work? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I fucking love music. But can I bullshit my way through something I hate? Yep. I sure can, because I'm a good improviser. And I could read those chord charts, right? I can get through the chords. That's easy. I can sight read chords like a motherfucker. No problem. No problem. Easy. Fun, even. But yeah, the melodies, this band director, when I got there to practice with everybody, oh, she knew. She knew I didn't look at anything. She knew. And I could hear, she didn't say anything to me. I could hear her in her voice going like, well, it's too late now. Just let him do whatever. Fuck it. All right. So when it came time for me to do melodies and stuff, guess what I did for the performance and guess what I did for the practice? I improvised stuff in the key of the song. Yep. And guess what? No one fucking knows. Band director knows, right? No one else does. No one else in the band knows. No one in the audience knows. Because I'm not playing any wrong notes. I'm not playing any dissonant notes. Any notes that sound like they don't belong. I'm playing notes in the key, right? I'm playing notes rhythmically accurate in the key notes. Anytime that a melody came up and just like, well, whatever. A-doop-doop-da-ba-ba. Jazzy phrases. Who cares? I can do that. I didn't want to do any of this. Everyone thought I did a great job. Even my band director who brought us there and was sitting in the audience, he's like, yeah, you nailed it. I'm like, yeah, sure did. Sure fucking did. Fuck. Then I went and saw the number one band. Oh. Ooh. They make you feel bad. Oh, they were good, man. Holy shit. That piano player from my school, he was in the number one band. Of course he was. He was phenomenal. He was so good. It just came right through his fingers. No problem, dude. No blockages, right? And the guitar player there, he made me like, oh, I suck ass. He was good, dude. I just remember seeing him just, plucking away, just flying over that fretboard. Just, so tasteful. So tasteful. Yeah, so that was a fun story. That was fun. It was such an interesting balance of like not giving a shit and, like not worrying about it and also being very nervous because I didn't prepare at all. That was crazy. That was so weird. I was just there in my suit with my guitar like, fuck this, man. I didn't want to do any of this. So goofy. But as far as anyone else knew, I did a great job. I nailed it. God, so weird, man. So fucking weird. Oh, another interesting thing, and then this is just all nice. Is in a Chicago northern suburb called Winnetka. Pretty well-off suburb. A lot of money in that suburb. Nice, big school. Huge school. Labyrinth of a school. Once a year, they would do, call it like the Count Basie Jazz Fest at the school. And you know what? That was rad. Jazz performances all day. You go there, play with your jazz band, play with your high school jazz band, all these high school jazz band performances. And then, yeah, like performances, actual, like professional jazz musicians. A couple cool things, though. Master classes. Those are some of my first, like, sit down, listen to professional musicians talk about their instrument and their technique and their sensibilities. And that was really cool. Able to ask some questions. That was awesome, And there was some downtime that day, so you could walk around. You could actually socialize with your jazz band members because there wasn't any time for socializing when you were practicing normally. You just get together, you practice, and you're done. Go home. So it's actually nice to get to hang out and like talk to some people, you know? And that was fun. I remember, I don't remember who it was, but there was this trumpet player, played in the auditorium at the Winnetka High School, professional, and man, he didn't need any amplification. Everybody else was amplified. He just stood in the front of the stage and just belted that thing, and that thing sang through the whole auditorium like nothing. It's incredible. That was a powerful memory. I remember watching him just being like, ooh, damn. I'm being affected emotionally. That's pretty impressive. Pretty fucking impressive. So that was a fun memory. My other favorite part was we had like a Latin jazz section to the jazz band, right? Where for a little bit, we prepared some Latin jazz music and did a performance of that. Two great things about that. Now, one, when it comes to me like ranking kind of types of jazz, Latin jazz, pretty close to the fucking top. I gotta put like fusion-y stuff at the top because that's just what I love in general, is just when you mix a lot of different things together to make something really unique and special. And I don't necessarily mean things that sound like jazz fusion. I just mean the basic definition of fusion, just mixing interesting different things together, fusing them, right? That kind of thing. Not necessarily like, you know, John McLaughlin and the Mahavishnu Orchestra, like wild, you know, stuff like that, you know. But just, yeah, I got to put fusion at the top. But Latin jazz, right fucking there, man. I love it. I love the vibe. I love the sensibilities. I love the interesting rhythms, you know. I jive with it. I dig it. And we had a guest come in for that. And again, I don't remember who it was. Okay, it was a long time ago. But he was a really accomplished professional Latin percussion player, right? So he busted out some congas, was showing us different rhythms, showing us like, here's all the different sounds that you can get out of the conga, you know? And that was the first time somebody like, you know, drew my attention to that aspect of hand percussion, is that like, that's what a hand percussion player does. They like explore this instrument and they see like, how many different sounds can I get out of this? And obviously there's kind of like an institution for this. There's a tradition in this. When you actually learn these things, they teach you all the different sounds, but that's what a hand percussion player does with the thing. They're like, okay, you hit it like this, it makes this sound, but you hit it with one finger here, you get that sound, you hit the side, you get that sound, and they all become all these different sounds, little instruments, right, that you get to pull from to create all these different textures of percussion lines, right? And same thing I came to learn, like, you know, in a big way, right, with the traditional, Indian bongos, the tablas, right? You know what I'm talking about. And oh my God, there's like a different name for every sound that you can make on the tablas. You know, there's a different little word, a different little syllable for every different sound that you can make normally. And so since there's a different word for it, like really good tabla players, they can like sing you the percussion lines. They can sing the percussion, like, you know, with words. And maybe you've heard it before. If you listen to any traditional Indian music, they like to flex on that and include it sometimes in performances. They like to flex like that. It's not that I just can play. It's that I can imagine this. I can imagine all these sounds. I can imagine this whole world of percussion in my head, you know? Not just hitting it. I can sing it to you. It's a beautiful thing. But that was cool to have him in, right? And we got to play some Latin jazz, and I got to improvise over some Latin jazz type pieces. And oh my God, that's my favorite thing, right? Because I was so excited because one of the pieces we played, not necessarily Latin jazz, but yeah, it is Latin jazz. It's, you know, Oye Como Va, right? Amazing. And my favorite mode to improvise in is fucking Dorian, man. Dorian mode, second mode of the major scale. right? It's essentially a minor scale, right? But instead of a minor sixth, it's a major sixth. So you have a little major sounding element to an otherwise minor scale. So what you get is a fucking cool minor scale. It ain't all the way sad, right? It's got a little happiness, a little touch of happiness in there. And I spent hours at home improvising over backing tracks in Dorian. And so, oh my God, finally get to flex on some Dorian improvising in Oye Como Va. Fuck yes. That was so much fun. So we got to put on a concert for that, and that was cool. All right. Oh, and that's about it. That's about it. There were some other things, you know. We went around to the elementary schools and played concerts there, and that was kind of cool. It was fun wearing a suit for something other than a funeral. That was fun, you know. That's actually, I found out, like, actually kind of like wearing suits, you know. So a few times, sometimes if it was real professional, I'd wear like a black suit, you know, just black tie. But other times when it was chill, I'd get a little funky with it, man. I used to have a brown velvet sport coat, and I'd wear like a brown paisley tie, you know, like kind of gold shirt, real 70s to the max, you know, because that's where I live in my head, you know. That's what I am into. Yeah, so that was fun. And in general, there were some good memories, you know, but I just kind of I just wanted to share some memories from that, mostly just because it was a very interesting experience. Very interesting experience that I bet you most of the people in that class, you know, not something that's on their mind anymore. You know, we're all in our 30s now. Probably something they don't think about, you know. Because it was just another thing. It was just another after-school band activity, you know. You get some charts put in front of you. You read them, you play the notes, you play the shows. That's it, right? But for me, now it was a very potent memory because of how challenging it was for me, because I couldn't read music that well, you know? And then those weird memories of, you know, like bullshitting my way through things, using my improvisation skills to fly under the radar and mask my inability to read things well, right? My hilarious procrastination and slacking, you know, all the little tricks I did to compensate for my inability to read well. They made it a very potent memory that I still find myself going back to from time to time. And so I want to share it with you for that reason, you know, because I want to share all these different parts of my brain with you that are formative in one way or another, or stick around, you know, the interesting decorations on the inside of my mind, you know. I want to share all this stuff with you, these interesting, potent, you know, pieces of nostalgia, right, from my life. Because they're interesting things for me, and maybe you'll find them interesting too, okay? But that's pretty much it. Those are all my interesting little jazz band memories. Very strange little difficult and kind of fun chapter of my musical existence, musical endeavors, whatever, right? And yeah, that's it, okay? Thanks for listening. As always, got new episodes coming every Tuesday at 8 a.m., okay? Got all the episodes up on Apple Podcast and Spotify Podcast, all right? You want to listen to these more as background shit? Go on over there, give them a listen, okay? If you're feeling particularly generous, leave me a good rating, okay? Help me out. Excuse me. I'm trying to get this going, man. Help me out, okay? If you want to support me in other ways, there are links in the description that can point you in the right direction. You can listen to my music. You can share my music. You can buy my music. You can sign up for the Patreon. You can leave a donation, right? Helps me keep doing this. right? Helps me do it better in the future if I got some fucking money, right? Come on, I'm trying to quit my job. Let's go. Let's go, man. I'm sick of this shit. Listen, man, no pressure. I just appreciate you being here, okay? All right. Also, for anything and everything, go to my website, man. Go to my website at chrisdacosse.com. Link in the description below, okay? All right, that's it. All right? You've been jazzed. You've been fucking jazzed, all right? So bye. Bye. That's what all this is anyway, man. All right? Just a bunch of jazz. That's all we're looking at. Bye. Bye. You're walking around. You're looking at the landscape. You know what you're seeing? Jazz. Perfect explanation for what all this is. Just a bunch of jazz. Just a bunch of bye. Bye-bye. Just a bunch of that's all it is. What do you think all this is? Bye. Bye. Just a bunch of going on in this fantastic way. Bye. Bye.